This is Megan, and welcome to Stories in the Woods. Today's forest fact comes from Cassidy.
Group of rabbits are called a colony.
Wow, a group of rabbits is called a colony. I find the names for groups of animals so interesting. Did you know a group of kangaroos is a mob? Or a group of lemurs is a conspiracy? Here's one that tickles my tongue. A flamboyance of flamingos. How fun is that? It's true that many animals like to live in groups together. Rabbits are very social creatures. That reminds me of a little bunny that was having a hard time making new friends. Should we hear about how he found a way to be brave? Find a comfy spot. Ready? Okay, all you humans and forest dwellers, here we go. Bartholomew Bunny was quite quiet and shy, which was not uncommon for a rabbit. But while all the other bunnies enjoyed being in a pack, Bartholomew was unusually timid. His nose would twitch with worry, his long ears would flop and droop, as he cautiously watched his fellow rabbits play eat and sleep in a group. Bartholomew was nervous. What if he said the wrong thing? Or the others found him boring or odd or worse, all his little bunny quirks rather tiring. So Bartholomew played it safe and spent his time alone, doing all his bunny things entirely on his own. Until one day his life took an unexpected turn when he went to nibble on his morning snack, today a particularly delectable carrot, and a sound he'd never heard before stopped him in his tracks. "Hey!" a little voice piped up, and Bartholomew looked down. A disgruntled worm sat in his carrot. She was wearing quite a frown. "My apologies," Bartholomew stammered. The worm let out a great sigh. "It's not the first time something's tried to eat me," she said. "I find most other living things ill-mannered." Bartholomew began to giggle. The worm scowled and said, "What's so funny?" But soon they both were laughing so hard that their tummies wiggled and jiggled. "My name is Rita," the worm said. "Bartholomew," he managed to answer. "Where's your colony?" Rita asked, and Bartholomew hung his head. "Oh, they're probably sharing snack over in the warren. That's where we all live, but, well, I've been alone ever since I was born." "I just don't know how to say hello," Bartholomew explained. "The words get stuck and won't come out, and it leaves me feeling low." Rita tilted her little worm head to and fro, then shared her words of wisdom. "When I feel like something is too big, I take it nice and slow. I take that overwhelming goal that makes me want to quit and break it into smaller steps, making my way towards it bit by bit." Bartholomew thought on this idea. He was quiet until the light began to fade. Rita sat companionably by his side, letting her worm insight marinade. Dust settled after a while. Finally, the timid bunny spoke. "I think perhaps something small could be a friendly smile?" Bartholomew turned his head and gazed intently at his new companion. Then slowly his lips curved up and up into a smile that would charm anyone. Rita returned the grin. "I think you are ready, my friend." And with a wink and a nod, the shrewd worm wriggled away and around the bend. Bartholomew made his way back home, reflecting on his strange afternoon. Before he knew it, he was back underground and his heart had begun to pound. All his worries came flooding back. He froze up as he looked around the colony, and instead of up, his lips went down into a rather intimidating frown. Bartholomew didn't know what to do. He closed his eyes and thought of Rita. The corners of his mouth began to twitch, and slowly his scowl made a switch. A huge smile lit up his bunny face. He sensed something in the burrow had changed. Bartholomew opened up his eyes and looked with wonder around the space. Rabbits big and small were beaming back at him. Bartholomew felt brave for having tried. His long ears stood up proud and tall. That one tiny step brought another, and at breakfast the next day, Bartholomew brought his leafy greens closer to the fluffy fray. Bartholomew gave a nod. One bunny gave a cheerful hello. Soon they were all chattering, and the group around Bartholomew began to grow. "We're so glad you came to join us," an older gray rabbit said. "It's not easy to make new friends. That took a lot of guts." Bartholomew was so happy he began to hop and bounce around in a rabbit dance that shows pure joy, known as the Bunny Binky. A few weeks later, Rita Worm was relaxing in her garden when some snail mail arrived for her, postmarked Bartholomew Bunny in the bottom. "Dear Rita," the letter inside began, "I want to thank you for your help. I was lonely that day we met, and your kindness I won't soon forget. I took your advice and started small. I realized it was okay to take it slow. That courage wasn't not being afraid, but feeling fear and still giving it a go. Now I have a bunch of bunny buddies, which has brought me so much joy. But I realized my first friend was a wise Annalita named Rita." So what then can we learn from this little rabbit tale? First, we can start with tiny steps, and second, it's okay to fail. Big goals can take some time to try to figure out, and being brave is trying even when there is doubt. Perhaps you can find a worm friend too, although a parent or teacher might be better. Someone to help break things down and chat, and support, encourage, and cheer on you. I am so glad that things worked out well for Bartholomew Bunny by the end of our story. It must have been so hard to be brave and try to reach out to make friends, but I think he was glad that he did. I wonder, is there anything that feels like a too big goal for you? Hold on. If you're comfortable, can you close your eyes for me? I want you to imagine the biggest, tastiest ice cream sundae you have ever seen. Can you imagine eating it in one bite? Yikes! Talk about brain freeze. No, we need to tackle it one scoop at a time. Let's imagine our ice cream sundae is trying swim lessons. Some of your smaller scoops might be: Scoop 1, visit the pool and just watch. Scoop 2, put your feet in the water. Scoop 3, meet your swim teacher and say hi. Scoop 4, try floating or splashing in the shallow end. And Scoop 5, practice a skill in the water even if it's just for a minute. Remember to celebrate at each step. Okay, you can open up your eyes. Having courage isn't easy for anybody, and you deserve to recognize how much effort it takes. Stories in the Woods are original stories by me, Megan Schmitz. Thank you to Cassidy for today's forest fact. If you would like to send me an interesting fact about a forest plant or animal, please email me at storiesinthewoods@gmail.com. That's storiesinthewoods@gmail.com. You can find me at Littles in the Woods on Instagram or Facebook for nature play and tips for getting little explorers outside. Thanks for joining me. I can't wait to meet again for another story in the woods.